The Oklahoma Sports Grind podcast is presented to you by our sponsors, Fallout Sports in Norman, Oklahoma. Visit falloutsports.com. XR Tickets, the latest in all concert and sports athletic events nationwide. xrtickets.com. And Rapid Service Center in Midwest City, Oklahoma. Visit us online at rapidautorepair.com.
Welcome back to the Oklahoma Sports Grind. I'm Austin Wood. I'm here with Andrew Tice. We're going to talk about last week's games. Week 1 finished up. It was an interesting week needless to say. There was a lot of good games, a lot of intriguing matchups. We'll start in Class 6A. Our game of the week, Sapulpa Chieftains traveled to the Choctaw Jackets. It was an electric atmosphere. The stadium was packed. The coaches were pumped. The players were pumped. It was just a great atmosphere to be in. Sapulpa traveled well as well. They had probably over 1,000 people over there on their side. Choctaw pulled off the victory 38-12 to start out the season on the right foot. They will travel this Thursday. They have PCO on the road. It's Thursday night, PCO Stadium, 7 o'clock kickoff. Midwest City, they traveled up to Booker T, which that was the game of the week for the Daily Oklahoman. It was a tough start for the Bombers getting down early. They fought back. They didn't give up. Defense played well in the second half. Got to be able to establish the run is going to be the thing going forward. If they can get that going, then a passing game will open up and the Bombers will be fine. They have Carl Albert this week. That's the crosstown matchup. Should be an interesting one, Andrew.
Yeah, the rivalry between Midwest City and Carl Albert, it's a big one. It's in district. It's a really battle for the city, who's the best team in Midwest City. So I'm really excited for that. That is our game of the week, so we will be there live on Friday night, and we will be ready to go. Really excited for the Titans and the Bombers.
Yeah, it should be a good one. It should be packed. That house will be, hopefully, Midwest City. Jim Darnell Stadium will be packed, both sides. I think it'll be a fun one for sure. Dale City played this last Thursday night. They traveled on the road and played PC West to start off the season. Terry Wilson is their quarterback. He was originally committed to Nebraska. This weekend he took a trip to Eugene, Oregon, and is now a commitment of the Oregon Ducks. He had a heck of a game, running for almost 100 yards, passing for close to 400. That's a pretty good night right there. Their defense struggled. PC West put up 42 points. Dale City won 47-42. But they're going to have to make some improvements on the defensive side of the ball going forward. It was a good test early on. They have another test this week when they're on the road again, and they travel to
Lot Nike.
Yeah, Lot Nike. They came off of a tough game too, playing a team from Arkansas, Fayetteville. So Dale City travels down there to Lot Nike this week. They actually play on Thursday night. So hopefully, they can keep things rolling. Terry Wilson, that team's only going to go as far as Terry Wilson takes them, honestly. The defense really has to improve. We look at some of the other games and stuff that we predicted in Class 6A. We had Stillwater and Deer Creek. Tice, you went with the 6A favorite. I went with the 5A team, which will be 6A soon, Deer Creek. Deer Creek got off to the early lead, and they just never let off. They ended up winning 31-7.
Yeah, I really thought that Stillwater could come into the game, and especially with how strong their running game was last season, and of course with wide receiver that they have up there. I believe his name is Jordan Brown. They have some really good athletes on that side of the ball, so I really thought Stillwater would be a heavy favorite in this game, but again, Deer Creek once again surprises and shows the reason why they should be in Class 6A.
Yeah, they're a pretty good squad. They went 0-3 last year against the 6A gauntlet that they run. This year, I could very well see them going 3-0. Because they play the same teams they did last year, so they could start the season off 3-0 against 3 6A schools.
Wow!
So I just imagine just 1 year difference, and that's crazy. We also picked Moore War. We both went with Westmore. It was a closer game than we both imagined.
Yeah.
I thought Westmore would put it on them a little bit more than they did. But it's early season, first game of the year, so you can't expect everybody to be 100%. So they won 25-21. So we both had that one correct. And then one of the games of the week up there in Tulsa was when South Lake Carroll from Texas, a perennial power, took on Tulsa Union. We both picked South Lake Carroll. We thought it would be, a decent game. We both picked South Lake Carroll, and South Lake Carroll prevailed late. Union had the lead, and South Lake Carroll came back and won the game late in the fourth quarter. So overall in Class 6A, Tice, you won.
Went 9 and it's in 6A.
Well, total you went 9-2 on the week.
Yeah.
Myself, I went 10-1.
Thanks, Stilly.
I'll go to Class 5A. Tecumseh and Noble.
Oh man.
That was
Tecumseh, they had the lead for a while in that game, but Noble just overpowering the numbers that you have at Tecumseh. The just how long the game goes on, and like I say, you don't have the numbers. The guys get tired, and Noble they just started flexing, man.
Yeah, Tecumseh had the lead 28-27 at one point, and Noble, went on a run and finished the game off 56-28. So Tecumseh, maybe they can bounce back this next week. It's going to be tough for them. Also, Carl Albert played El Reno on the road to open up their season. The Titans were pretty impressive. They were missing several starters on both sides of the ball. Braxton Dickerson didn't have to have a big game because the running game absolutely exploded for about 350 yards rushing. So they played well. Defensive gave up a couple late scores, but Diego Richards had a big game as well. Ran back 2 special teams for touchdowns. One of them was called back, but still, it's impressive. This kid's got a bright future, and I'm high on this kid. I think he's got. He's not very big, but he's explosive. Got great speed. We jumped to Class 4A. Bethel and McLeod.
Man.
We both. This is the game. This is the only game that I predicted wrong. We both actually went with McLeod. Bethel had a 23-game losing streak.
Yeah.
McLeod comes off of a big victory over Christian Heritage. Both of them were former Midwest City coaches, so they're actually both good friends.
Jason Madonna at Bethel got his first victory as a head football coach, so congratulations to him.
Congratulations. It was a tough loss for Coach Hall. Some of the tweets and stuff we saw from the game, it was kind of a rough game. I guess the Zebras had an impact on that game, which is unfortunate. I'm not saying for who the Zebras were for. Bethel pulled out the victory, though. That's what it matters at the end of the day. McLeod falls to 1-1 on the season. Class 2A, our other school that we cover, Christian Heritage, they had the week off. They'll take on Mount St. Mary this week. We also picked a couple college games. We stayed in state with Oklahoma State and also OU. The Oklahoma State game, we both picked them to win big, and it was a scary scene up there at Central Michigan for them.
Yeah, it was a typical Thursday night football game on ESPN. It's one of those where you can really call it a trap game. Especially weird to open the season up like that for Oklahoma State, but I was really impressed with the defense. The defense had a really good opportunity to stop the running game of Central Michigan, and they did. The passing game was a little bit flaky in the secondary for the defense, but overall, the defense stepped up when they needed to. It's more of a bend but don't break defense, I think, that Oklahoma State's been sticking with for a very long time. So Glenn Spencer really made corrections this week. They'll be fine. And offensively, I think it was first game jitters. I don't know. But Mason Rudolph had moments where he shined, looked really good. I don't know about the Carson kid yet. The running game is still a question mark to me because of the offensive line, and we'll see how that meshes well.
Yeah, he didn't look very explosive in that game. So we'll see. I mean, they were really high on him coming into the season, saying that he's one of the best backs they've had in a while. I don't think I saw that in him yet. I mean, it's early. He could explode for a huge year. We look at OU taking on Akron. They won 41-3. It was rough in the first half, the first quarter especially. They just couldn't seem to find any kind of rhythm on offense. Once they did find the rhythm, though, Joe Mixon proves why he's going to be special for OU.
Wow.
Baker Mayfield, a lot of people have been high on him, and he played well too. I think that the defense, they looked pretty good. They have a lot of depth on defense, I feel, especially up front, also in the secondary.
Yeah. Well, I think there are two things that point out at the OU game that I noticed, and one of them was the energy that Baker Mayfield has. it rubs off. So that's always a positive when your quarterback has that kind of, the energy and the integrity. I mean, he was a little flaky at first, but when they really got things going under offensive coordinator Lincoln Riley, I mean, they got it going big. The other thing on the defensive side for the Sooners is that defense coordinator Mike Stoops was not on the field. He was actually in the press box.
Yeah, they said they're getting the plays a lot quicker that way. I guess it allows him a different vantage point.
They're going to need a lot better insurance on the press box.
Yeah, he's not going to be yelling as much down on the sidelines at people, so they'll have to find somebody else to step up and do that. OU has a huge game this week. They travel to Knoxville and take on the Tennessee Volunteers, which, that'll be a top 25 matchup. Both teams come off of a victory. Tennessee beat Bowling Green. They dropped 59 points in that game. It was close in the first half. Second half, not so much. Tennessee put them away. The running back Hurd from Tennessee. That kid's good.
Yes.
They have a couple guys there that can run the ball. We'll see. It's going to be loud. There's 105,000 people in that stadium.
Newlyland Stadium. It's one of the largest stadiums in America, man.
It's going to be loud. It's going to be orange.
Man. Wrong color orange.
Yeah, that's OU fans. It's not we don't like the color orange, whether it's
okay.
OSU orange or it's Texas orange.
Definitely not Texas orange this weekend. Goodness, Notre Dame beat them bad.
Yeah, how about that Fighting Irish? Texas is just Swoops is just not the answer.
But he's still on the depth chart as the number one quarterback.
Yeah, they don't have anybody else. They got this kid from Arizona who's supposed to be like 6'6" or whatever that I heard about. We'll see about him. They're young. It's only it's only his second season there as head coach. So we'll see. I'm not thinking that Texas is going to be very good this year. A lot of people were higher on them than I am. I'm not so high on them. That'll wrap it up for this week's edition. We just wanted to go through all of the games and give a highlight of a little bit of each one. We will have another podcast on, and we'll release that one tomorrow. We'll give our picks and our previews for this upcoming week. We have several games that we're going to go through. Remember, our game of the week this week is Carl Albert at Midwest City. That'll be Friday night at 7 o'clock, so make sure you get there early. And that'll wrap it up for this week's show. Thank you for listening.